happens.
And so, I mean, you were this tight knit group of friends. You're like making up games. You're playing pranks on each other and things like that. What were like some of the starting? What were like the first games that you can think of that you guys made together?
Well, we were always really obsessed with this game called Dictionary Dabble, or it's also called Balderdash. Do you know that game?
Oh, Balderdash is great. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of our go-to game, and we actually wound up playing that so much that we learned the words, and we couldn't play it anymore because we knew someone would always remember the one of the word, the words that you're not supposed to know, the dictionary words.
Hmm.
So then we sort of took the scoring mechanism of Balderdash, which is the way it works. But I should just probably explain this game. The way it works is like one player is the judge, and they read out a word that is a dictionary word that no one's ever heard of, like a really obscure word. Then everybody has a slip of paper. They write down a fake definition for what they think that word is that could be plausible. And the judge sort of secretly writes down the real definition for the word and then collects all the answers and shuffles them up and reads them all out to everyone. Then everyone votes on which one they think the real definition is. And if you can get points if you vote for the correct word, the correct definition, or if other people vote for your fake answer and you sort of wrote the best fake answer, then you get points that way. So we sort of took that and we started making like other sort of comedy things that weren't based on dictionary words. So like one of our first game prototypes was it was actually inspired by this thing Brian Eno made called the oblique strategy cards. And like one of our parents had a copy of that deck or something. So we kind of were mashing that up with Balderdash. So you would ask a question to the group that was like, how would you, it was like, if you're confronted with like a creative problem, how would you solve it? So, something along those lines, right? And then everyone would answer. If I was the judge, everyone would answer, how would Max answer this question? And then I would answer how I would really answer this question. And then everyone would vote and you try and pick out like, did anyone write a better answer for me than I did, right? So, but that game never worked for anyone who wasn't us because they didn't know us, right? So it was really hard to play with people who you weren't already close with. So we started writing more like comedy ones. So we were like, if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what food would you eat? And then you'd guess you'd sort of guess what the judge actually said. And we played that for a while and we realized like everyone was trying to make jokes and it was sort of inviting people to be funny and be shocking and get the group to laugh. But most people were bombing. Like they were writing these answers that were cruel or they weren't funny or they were making people uncomfortable. And then we were sort of like, it sort of hit us of like, you know what, we really need to like write the questions and the answers. And that's where it really started coming together. Then when we sort of created the like pick two mechanic where there's cards that have two blanks and you're doing wordplay and mashing things up together, that's kind of creatively like where it really opened up.
Yeah. So once you started adding some structure to it, then people couldn't kind of go off the rails to hurt other people's feelings and stuff.
Exactly. And we always had this concern of like, well, at some point we're going to make this game so simple and controlled that people will feel like they're not doing anything. But that never happened. I mean, people do feel as though they're creating their sort of own comedy creation just by playing a funny white card. And that's great. Like that's kind of the secret weapon of cards is that people really can sort of authentically feel like they're making their own joke, even though they're doing it within this sort of